How's it going, everyone? Spenny here, back with another video, and today I have another kind of unboxing from the thrift store. I went to Value Village today just in case the last few times I went they did have Skylanders, so I was feeling lucky today. And so long story short, we didn't find any Skylanders, but what we did find is some video games and some VHS movies. But one of the video games kind of caught my eye. Never heard of it until today, and I kind of looked into it more. And I was like, this sounds very similar to Skylanders. I'm like, I'm gonna pick it up, just kind of see what it's like, and I'll make a video on it. So, to get everything else out of the way first, we got a few movies. We got Murder by Numbers, we have Dracula, and we also have The Usual Suspects. Getting into the video games, we got two of them. We got Left 4 Dead, and I honestly wasn't aware until today that there's a Left 4 Dead 2. I thought it just went Left 4 Dead and then Back 4 Blood, which was the new one that came out this year. But yeah, apparently there was a second one, so might have to get that if it's anything like this game and if I end up liking it. But now, before getting into the game, what I do want to make note of is, I don't know if this is all Value Villages or just this one, but look at what they did. They're starting to put the pricing now on the spines of stuff, which sucks. And especially for these, this is like cardboard material, so it's gonna rip, so I can't even take it off. That sucks. And then video games, this is just inconvenient. It's not even like you can see the price when they're all in their shelves, you know how they are, like this. You can't even see the price anyways, so what's the point of putting the label here when it's on the back? They could have just covered the whole back. I don't really care about that, but it's an inconvenience. I don't want to have to take it off. I'm lazy. What do you want me to do? Take it off in my own time? Now, the game that you guys are probably waiting for is called Kameo. I know, like, it's not very common, honestly. I don't think a lot of people know about it, but that's why I'm going to be telling you guys about it today. So, get ready, because we're going to be doing a deep dive into kind of some similarities into Skylanders in this game and just what it's all about. So, let's get into it. I just saw the back, right? I saw the spine. And I was like, oh, what is this? Like, I've never heard of this before. So I picked it up, and I was like, okay, I mean, it looks cool. It looks very different. I was like, let's start reading it, right? And then I turn it over, and it says that there's 10 elemental warriors. So I'm like, 10 elements? That's cool. I was like, that sounds similar to a few games that I've heard of. And then, I kid you not, I opened it up, and I look at the manual, and I'm like, Master Eon, is that you? This is like oddly similar. I'm like, even if it's not any similar, like with the gameplay wise, I'm like, I still need to pick this up because I have never heard of this and I need to see what it's all about. So, now let's look at some of the gameplay and we'll do a little dissection. So this game was originally made for the Nintendo GameCube, but then Microsoft bought the company and wanted to make it into a 360 exclusive game, which they did. In this game, you play as an elf princess named Kameo, which is a 15-year-old girl. The main gimmick behind this game is that Kameo, which is the main character, has the ability to morph into different creatures. Each of these 10 creatures, not including the elf herself, have different moves that you need to use specifically to beat different puzzles. Now these puzzles aren't exactly difficult, you just have to know what character has which move in order to get past certain areas. So it's a lot of remembering, but as you play the game you'll get more used to the different moves that each character possesses. And although I said you need these certain moves to beat puzzles, you also mostly need these moves to just beat enemies. From just hordes of trolls to big boss fights, there is just an endless amount of enemies. So this whole game starts off with Thorn, which is the main villain. He basically takes this elf's family members and holds them captive. And this results in the war that we see throughout the game. So the main objective of this entire game is for Kameo to collect 10 elemental warriors. You do actually need all 10 of these warriors to beat the entire game. You'll get awarded more and more of these characters as you progress through the game. However, at the start of the game you do start off with 3 elemental warriors, but as you can see in this footage, you do lose them all in a fight to a troll which forces you to go back and collect all of them over again in the second level. This game also still has currently running multiplayer servers, which you can participate in with up to 6 friends. Like honestly, if this game that released in 2005 can have these online servers, I don't know what the hell Skylanders was doing. It's also definitely worth mentioning that Xbox did graphically update this game, which was originally released in 2005, to the new standards of today's Xbox Series X enhanced old retro games. There's honestly hardly any dead space in this entire game, from the hub world where there's lots of place to just travel around and take in the nice view, to just lots of very cleverly put together puzzles, which don't feel like puzzles at all because you have everything necessary in order to get you past these parts. It's just up to you to remember how to use your characters that you have and what moves they possess in order to help you advance to the next part. It's also extremely helpful that a game like this has an easy mode because it's so much different than any other game I've ever played, especially from the controls all the way to just how the game plays. And that's not it that they do for new players, because they also have a hint book which can help you with nearly anything that you're stuck on. Overall, there's just a ton of good stuff to take from this game, and I definitely highly recommend you check this out if you are able to, and especially if you do like the Skylanders franchise, because I think that Skylanders honestly takes a lot from just how this game plays and tried their best to implement it into their game. But I think that this is special in its own way, and you definitely have to try it out, because one thing I can really appreciate is the amount of combat and lack of super detailed puzzles that you really have to think about. These ones are very brainless, but they still cause you to think a little bit. They're just not annoying to complete. So honestly, if you've ever played the Skylanders games and you enjoyed them, I'd say just give it a try and see how you like it. Because you never know, you might just find a hidden gem like I did today at the thrift store.